90k acres and welcome back to the channel. In this video we have this two destructive duo, Mengqi and Fengxian. And we're going to explore what's the best items for this two, so to optimize their destructive handsomeness. LOL. But anyways, we're not finalizing anything here, okay? I'm just giving you my best opinion as best I could. So before we start the video, can I please get a like or subscribe, please? Thank you. So let me ask you, what do you think is the best item or core item for this two? Or what do you think should be their core item? Comment it down below and let me know. So first on our video is my theory lists, and before we start, let me just say I stopped playing for over a month now. So meaning, I don't know if my theory works in the game, but we're going to rely on the item description, so it shouldn't be a problem, right? Like for example, I was thinking to put Leech Blade as my core item to this two heroes. This is because, according to Leech Blade description, Leech Blade gives shield per excess heal, right? It says here, upon attacking, restore 10 to 50% times damage dealt HP and converts excessive HP into a shield, up to self-level times 6. That's the description, right? So if we follow the description, it should be, let's say we have 300 max HP. Then we have 100 as our attack damage, or let's just say our damage is 100 for the sake of explanation. Then let's say we have 50% leech, so when we deal 100 damage, then we get 50% heal, right? So having our HP to max 300 over 300 means that 50 heal should be converted as shield to self, times 6. That's what the description is saying. But sadly, it's wrong, because Chinese translate it using Google Translate and didn't hire a good English translator. Because what Leech Sword really do is, at level 1 you get 6 shield, and our max soldier level is 6. So, 6 times 6 is 36. So no matter how much you're damage 300 or whatever, and you have 50% heal, you're still getting 36 shield at max level. And this is according to my friend who's currently playing this game, because I asked them, so meaning, the Leech Sword description is S2PID. But anyways, I'm still gonna try and play this two hero soon, and here's what I'm gonna aim for. I'll try and go for the Lamellar as my core item for Spear Cavalry's exclusive. Then I'll pair it with this 3, the Leech Blade, Copper Shield, and Circle Sword. I think this build will make my Spear Cav a little bit tankier than most. By the way, for those who doesn't know how Lamellar Cuirass works, it's like this. Damage taken is no more than 15 to 30, and reduces HP by 50% times excessive damage each turn for several turns. This just means, even if your enemy has 500 damage, it's still going to deal 15 to 30 damage, while its remaining 470 damage will be deducted next turn. But the formula should look like this. Let's say you have 300 max HP. Then the enemy has 500 damage, but will only deal 15 to 30 damage because of the Lamellar. Next turn, your 270 HP will be calculated like this. 270 minus 50% times excess damage. If that's how the formula works, then next turn you will get 35 damage from that excess damage of 470, and this will go on for several turns. And of course, this example is only when you're fighting 1 versus 1, but if there's 9 enemy with 500 damage, then that 35 damage per turn will pile up, and if we are to calculate 35 times 9, is equals to 315 damage per turn. So with the Lamellar, what we did is waste as much as enemy's turn, as much as possible. And instead of dying from 1 shot, it took 9 enemy to kill our unit with the Lamellar. And not only that, we save a whole bunch of allied soldier in the process. So that's my reasoning with this build, and I hope that's how the calculation works, or else, I'm doomed. LOL. By the way, I call this build the Vampire Cavalry build. So moving on to our next build, I would really want to make a Cav build that can really deal massive quick burst damaging to the enemy tank units. But upon carefully studying the 6 types of the Cavalry class, then I think the Spear Cav is not the right unit for the job. But even if that's the case, I think with Lubu's and Ma Chao's skills, I think it's worth to try. So these are my 4 candidate items to smelt with the Spear Cav's exclusive. So my first bet was the Mace, because at max, it deals 5% damage to target's current HP, so the higher the enemy's HP, the better. My next bet was the Hook Sword. At max, it gives 35% chance to deal true damage to the enemy, times their max HP. My next bet item is the Flying Guillotine. When the enemy's HP falls below 20%, it will automatically erase the enemy. And my last bet was this item, the Chiankun Saber at max. It gives 50% chance to deal 100% true damage to your attacks. Plus, it deals additional splash damage to the surrounding enemy, which is very cool. So these are my 4 best items to choose from, and it's hard for me to choose which one should I pick as my core item. I mean, the Flying Guillotine is really good for this build, and it's also my first pick, but I'm looking for that massive burst damage, so I'll choose the Chiankun Saber over the Flying Guillotine, which would also good item for this build. Then we're going to pair it with this 3 items, the Crit Blade, Leech, and Circle Sword. Then we're going to name this build the Slapped the Tank build. Lol. So that's it for my 2 build theory on this soldiers, and I really want to test this 2 build anytime soon. The only problem is the game, because it's really hard to get these item combination to apply to your exclusive, especially if we just rely on pure luck and not spend coins to get this item combinations. And not to mention, the smelting process, which is very random, and I admit, smelting really sucks 90% of the time. So that's it, thank you for watching guys, and if you have any questions, just comment it down below, and we'll see you on the next